What if we could measure how alien an object is? Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb proposed exactly that with what he calls the Loeb scale, where 0 is a rock and 10 is unambiguous technology. On October 13, 2025, an object that had already vanished behind the sun sent a signal that broke the scale entirely. Coordinated pulses of light, seen by two observatories on opposite sides of the world, blinked a message in the language of mathematics. What was it trying to say? Let's explore this together.
The night of pulses.
What happens when the sky blinks in perfect rhythm? On October 13, 2025, at exactly 2:41 UTC, that question became terrifyingly real. The Cerro Tololo Inter-American Observatory in Chile and the Mount Abu Infrared Observatory in India, separated by nearly 8,000 miles, recorded the same impossible event. 3 faint rhythmic bursts of light emerged from the darkness behind the sun. The source was pinpointed to the trajectory of 3I Atlas, an interstellar object that had disappeared from view weeks earlier. These weren't random flickers. They were structured, appearing in both optical and near-infrared bands, suggesting a controlled emission rather than a natural reflection. As Dr. Seth Shostak, a senior astronomer at the SETI Institute, has often said, a signal that is deliberately structured and information-rich is hard to explain away as a natural phenomenon. On their own, the pulses could have been dismissed as instrument noise or cosmic ray hits, common artifacts in astronomical data, but appearing identically at the same moment in 2 independent observatories removed all possibility of coincidence. The synchronized detection transformed a potential error into a verified observation, forcing a re-evaluation of what was possible. The sky went silent, then it blinked, and the world was never the same.
Fibonacci sequence.
Is there a mathematical signature for life itself? If so, it might be the Fibonacci sequence. This simple pattern, introduced to the West in 1202 by the Italian mathematician Leonardo of Pisa in his book Liber Abaci, is built by adding the last 2 numbers to get the next one. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and so on. But this isn't just a classroom exercise, it is nature's favorite building block. You find it in the spiral of a nautilus shell, the branching of trees, the arrangement of seeds in a sunflower, and even the magnificent arms of spiral galaxies. This recurrence isn't magic, it's a universal code for optimal growth, packing, and efficiency under physical constraints. So, when the light pulses from 3I Atlas were analyzed, the discovery was chilling. The intervals between the 3 bursts were not random, they were 5 seconds, 8 seconds, and 13 seconds. It was the Fibonacci sequence, broadcasted from behind the sun. This was more than just a signal. It was a message, written in a language that any intelligent species with a grasp of mathematics would instantly recognize as a hallmark of structure and intentional design. It suggested the sender understood that this pattern is one of the few constants that connects biology, physics, and pure mathematics across the cosmos.
Double confirmation.
How do you turn an anomaly into a fact? You get a second, independent witness. That's what made the 3I Atlas event impossible to dismiss. One observatory seeing strange flashes is a curiosity. It could be a bird, a satellite glint, or an equipment malfunction. But 2 observatories, on opposite sides of the planet, with different instruments and different atmospheric conditions, recording the exact same pattern signal within 0.04 seconds of each other. That is data. At Cerro Tololo, the sensors logged the bursts at precise Fibonacci intervals. At Mount Abu, the thermal imaging array recorded identical spikes, confirming the event occurred across multiple wavelengths. The odds of this happening by chance, from cosmic background radiation or simultaneous instrument failure, were calculated to be 1 in a billion. As the great astronomer Carl Sagan taught us, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and this dual detection was precisely that. The team systematically ruled out every known terrestrial and orbital source, leaving them with a deeply unsettling conclusion. The double confirmation was that evidence, forcing a stark choice upon the scientific community. Either they had witnessed an instrumental coincidence of astronomical improbability, or something out there was deliberately transmitting a mathematical sequence using pulses of light.
The golden ratio.
There is a number woven into the fabric of reality, from the proportions of our DNA to the spiral arms of galaxies. It's approximately 1.618, known as phi, or the golden ratio. and it's intrinsically linked to the Fibonacci sequence. If you divide any number in the sequence by the one before it, the result gets closer and closer to phi. When physicists analyzed the light from 3I Atlas, they found something even more profound than the timing. The second pulse was roughly 1.618 times brighter than the first, and the third was 1.618 times brighter than the second. The light wasn't just blinking, it was growing with perfect mathematical harmony, an exponential increase in energy output that mirrored this universal constant. The Nobel laureate Roger Penrose has spent his career exploring the deep connection between mathematics and the cosmos, suggesting that mathematical truths exist in a Platonic realm independent of human minds. Here it was, playing out in real time as if to prove his point. The signal was not just a sequence, it was a geometric progression, a fractal pattern embedded in light itself. This was structure layered on top of structure, a message that was not only transmitted but was itself an example of universal architecture.
The Fatima anniversary.
Why did the signal from 3I Atlas arrive on October 13th? For many, this date was not a coincidence, it was a deliberate echo through history. The event occurred on the 108th anniversary of the Miracle of the Sun at Fatima, Portugal. On October 13, 1917, tens of thousands of witnesses claimed to see the sun dance, spin, and emit brilliant colors before appearing to plummet toward the Earth. Sociologists like Robert Bartholomew have studied the event as a case of mass suggestion and optical phenomena caused by atmospheric conditions, but its cultural and religious power remains immense. It became a cornerstone of faith for millions, a day where the heavens supposedly intervened in human affairs. Now, over a century later, another impossible light show connected to a celestial body took place on the very same day. One was perceived as a divine miracle, the other was recorded as a mathematical signal. The parallel was impossible to ignore, suggesting a potential awareness of our history and myths. A celestial body performing impossible light movements, on the same date, separated by 108 years, felt less like chance, and more like a deliberate symbolic act of communication.
NASA's Blackout.
Where were humanity's most powerful eyes when this historic signal arrived? They were turned off. In a coincidence that strains belief, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, or SDO, the primary satellite monitoring the sun 24/7, went offline for scheduled maintenance just 3 hours before the pulses were detected. Its live feed, which had run almost uninterrupted for over a decade, went dark without the standard public announcement that typically precedes such maintenance. To make matters worse, HiRISE, the most powerful camera orbiting Mars, had also been down since the beginning of October. Two of the key instruments that could have provided a direct, independent view of the signal's source were completely blind at the crucial moment. Preliminary spectra from observatories like the Keck telescope hint at the presence of nickel emission lines. As SETI pioneer Jill Tarter has often noted, transparency and open data are critical in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, because verification is a global effort. With the SDO and HiRISE offline, that immediate verification became impossible, leaving the discovery in the hands of only two ground-based observatories. When the SDO feed returned 2 days later, the data for October 13th was simply gone from the public archive. There was no official explanation, only a chilling silence that for many became the loudest admission of all.
Harmonic resonance.
Was the 3I Atlas signal just numbers, or was it a form of music? According to the work of theorist David Sarita, the signal was a frequency map that aligned perfectly with his hyperdimensional solar model. In this framework, the numbers 5, 8, and 13 are not arbitrary. They correspond to specific harmonic resonances within our solar system. The number 5 relates to Earth's orbital position, 8 to a stable interplanetary zone beyond Mars, and 13 to a deep gravitational shell near Jupiter. Sarita's interpretation reframed the event entirely. The object wasn't just blinking a code, it was striking a cosmic tuning fork, creating brief flashes that carried harmonic energy across the vast distances of our solar system. This idea echoes the ancient concept of musica universalis, or music of the spheres, a theory the great astronomer Johannes Kepler dedicated his life to proving in the 17th century. Kepler believed the planets moved in orbits that corresponded to musical notes, creating a celestial symphony. While his specific theory was incorrect, Sarita's analysis proposed a modern version, that the 3-eyed Atlas pulses were a physical manifestation of the deep mathematical and resonant structure of our own solar system, a structure we are only just beginning to understand.
The Dante connection.
Could a 14th century poet have envisioned the very signal 3i Atlas would send? In one of the strangest synchronicities of the event, scholars pointed to Dante Alighieri's epic poem, Paradiso. Written 7 centuries ago, it describes a journey through a heaven structured by divine light and geometry. The ascent follows numerical patterns that mirror Fibonacci growth, with Dante describing the universe as a series of concentric spheres governed by a divine harmonic ratio. As the esteemed historian of science Owen Gingerich often detailed, these ancient models of the cosmos were built on a profound belief in a mathematically elegant and ordered universe, a stark contrast to a universe of pure chaos. The structure of Dante's heaven spiraling through ratios of light was a poetic echo of the 5-8-13 sequence detected from 3i Atlas. Adding another layer to the mystery, Dante died in the year 1321. The 2025 event occurred 704 years later, a number that resonates with cyclical patterns significant in numerology and ancient calendars. Was it a stunning literary coincidence, a fluke of human pattern recognition, or was the signal deliberately echoing one of humanity's oldest ideas? That creation itself is built upon proportion and rhythm.
Observatories respond.
How does the scientific establishment react when faced with the impossible? With extreme caution. For nearly a week after the event, the Cerro Tololo and Mount Abu observatories remained completely silent, consulting with international astronomical bodies. When they finally issued statements, the language was sterile and non-committal. They confirmed the data was real, the timestamps were synchronized, and the pulses were detected. But they refused to speculate on the source, labeling it a non-repeating, transient, photometric anomaly. It was a phrase designed to say everything and nothing, acknowledging the event while stopping short of any extraordinary interpretation. Yet, the data they released spoke for itself. The photometric light curves showed 3 sharp, distinct peaks with perfect Fibonacci spacing. As planetary astronomer Dr. Frank Marcus of the SETI Institute would argue, you must first exhaust all possible natural explanations, no matter how unlikely. But here, every known natural cause, cosmic rays, satellites, instrumental errors, had been systematically ruled out by their internal reviews. The observatories published their findings not with a press conference, but in quiet technical bulletins buried in their archives. But the message was clear. The signal was real, it was verified, and it was now part of the scientific record.
The missing data.
While the independent observatories released their data, NASA remained a black hole of information. The conspicuous data gap from the Solar Dynamics Observatory on October 13th was never officially explained in any satisfactory detail. When pressed by journalists and independent researchers, the agency cited overlapping calibration schedules, a vague explanation that convinced no one. Analysts who monitored the public data streams found evidence that wasn't just missing, it appeared to be deliberately withheld, with logs showing manual command overrides, not automated maintenance routines. The specific data from SDO, extreme ultraviolet and magnetogram readings, could have revealed localized energy releases or magnetic field interactions that might have offered a natural explanation, but that data was gone. This silence wasn't just limited to NASA. The European Space Agency's solar orbiter, which was also in a good position to observe the event, issued no comment. This official vacuum of information eroded public trust and created a firestorm of speculation. As the work of pioneering astronomer Vera Rubin demonstrated, sometimes the most important discoveries lie in the data that doesn't fit our models. For many, NASA's silence transformed a scientific anomaly into a potential cover-up, leaving the world to wonder what they saw. In the end, we are left with a hauntingly simple pattern: 3 pulses of light, with intervals of 5, 8, and 13 seconds. It was a signal that used the universal language of mathematics, broadcasted on a date loaded with historical symbolism, and confirmed by 2 independent witnesses. Yet, the agencies with the power to verify it were conveniently looking the other way. Was 3i Atlas a natural phenomenon so bizarre it mimicked intelligence, or was it a deliberate message from something far beyond our understanding? A cosmic hello from a passing traveler? We may never know for sure, but its journey through our solar system served as a powerful reminder that the universe is far stranger and more mysterious than we ever thought possible. It proved that we are not just looking at the stars, something may be looking back. What do you think 3i Atlas was? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the universe's greatest mysteries. Thank you for watching InnoVision Tech.